Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's video, I'd like to look at how the more experienced users of MTPredictor can uncover some more advanced trade setups using the software. A good example is unfolding on the DAX, literally as I'm recording this video at the moment. You can see this is a chart of the DAX. It's a 3-minute chart of the DAX. Today, 28th of January, you can see here the market's been making an initial rally followed by a decline. But so far, there's been no automatic setups on the chart. So how can the more experienced users take a look at this? Well, the part that interested me was, if I zoom in a bit, was going up into this high here this morning at around about, this is about 3 o'clock New York time, which obviously is a bit better if you're in Europe. And what I liked about this was, if I look at the volume, this bar here was actually a VSA bar. You can see it was indicated on our VSA chart here, or our volume chart here. Now normally what happens is, if the market goes to new highs, which it did here above this prior pivot on increased volume, most amateur traders would look at that and say, oh, that's a great buying opportunity, therefore look to go long. And obviously you see that's the high of the day so far. But we have an advantage that we have our DP support and resistance areas which can be put on the chart in advance. To do this would have been very easy. You'd have gone back to your prior pivot here, so before the market even got up there, so you'd have had this on your chart in advance and had that as a decision point resistance area. And as you can see, the market went up and caught that high absolutely beautifully. So for one point of analysis on your 3-minute chart, it was indicating that as of this red sell bar here, the volume was indicating that professionals were now entering the market at this level, and therefore you were to anticipate a decline. So therefore you should be looking for a short opportunity. This all unfolded at our DP resistance, so it gave us an area where the reversal was likely to unfold. I also like other things coming in as well. So for example, as the market came on this high, if we right mouse click and do Elliott wave intermediate, you can see the rally up into this high was actually a 5-wave sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with the high just in between the minimum and typical wave 5 WPT. So this was another reason on the 3-minute chart why a high was anticipated this level. So that's all well and good, but I also like to see the higher time frame chart confirm the setup as well. Now what happened just after this high came in was, if I have a look at the 15-minute chart, if I drag this across, here's our 15-minute chart. Can you see how we actually had a TS3 sell paint on our 15-minute chart as well? So just after this, all this stuff was going on the 3-minute chart, you had confirmation on the 15-minute chart, or the higher time frame chart, the market was going to go down. This also gave you a potential trade target, because if I place the analysis on our 15-minute chart, you can see that that actually did go down and reach its target down there at the low there. So that would have been basically a trade off pretty much the DP off that prior low there. So what that means is, on the 3-minute chart, what you can do is, if I reset the scale here, if I go back to this pivot low here, which was the low of the previous day, this would be the same low as we had on our 15-minute chart. So this would be a decision point target for your particular trade on the 3-minute chart. Can you see what I did there? In other words, I took the target on the 15-minute chart and then transposed that to the 3-minute chart for a target off this 3-minute high as well. So let's see how this looks on the risk reward profile. So if I go across there, if I right mouse click, I can place our risk reward on manually in and around the red sell bar, come down to your target there, and as you can see, it's just hit this target in real time just now. But the good thing about this is the profit at this low here would have been approximately 5.8 R, or 5 times greater than the initial risk. You can see here it actually is telling you risk exceeded, because I'm only using a $20,000 account with a 2% initial risk. So the euro, sorry, not the euro, the DAX is quite a big contract, so here the initial risk would have been $630, and that would have been too much for my sample $20,000 account. Remember, in MTPredictor we actually take account of cross currency rates. So for example, if I show you what I mean here, in our exchange rate section, what we do is we can get the currency cross rates for the different currencies. So that means that when you are looking at a DAX chart, we actually use our position sizing and account risk in your account currency. So in other words, it tells you what the initial risk is in dollars if your account is in dollars. So in other words, it keeps your initial risk constant and the same across different markets that are actually traded in different currencies, because obviously the DAX is traded in euros, but here we equate that back in that 1 pip on the DAX here is actually equivalent to 14 US dollars. It's normally 25 euros, but that's equivalent to 14 US dollars at the current exchange rate. So that's a good way to keep your initial risks constant across different markets. Okay, so what's the result of this? Well, the result is that the market came down here and hit this first target here for a profit of 5.8R. But the point being is that you actually did your manual analysis to indicate a potential reversal at the 306 bar here because of the VSA setup. That indicated that professionals were stepping into the market and therefore were probably going to push the market lower. That all unfolded at a 5-wave high and DP resistance on your 3-minute chart. That was then all confirmed by a TS3 sell setup on your 15-minute chart as well. That then gave you the target to go to for your 3-minute chart, and as you can see, it produced a very, very good trade setup. And all of this on a market where there were no automatic MTPredictor trade setups. So hopefully this video gives you a good example of how to use MTPredictor on in more advanced ways for uncovering manual trade setups.